Imagine being arrested and detained multiple times for breaking rules you literally cannot understand. That's exactly what happened in a groundbreaking legal case that's forcing us to rethink how justice works for society's most vulnerable.
You know what's fascinating about this case? It started with something as simple as neighbourhood complaints, but evolved into a landmark decision about human rights and mental capacity.
Let me paint the picture here. We have this young man in East London who was suffering from severe mental illness. The court slapped him with what's called an antisocial behaviour injunction, essentially telling him to stop certain behaviours. But here's the kicker. He didn't have the mental capacity to even understand what he was being ordered to do.
So it's like giving someone a contract written in a language they don't speak, and then punishing them for not following it.
Exactly. And what's really troubling is that this wasn't just a one-time thing. He was arrested multiple times for breaching this injunction, each time being detained and brought before the court within 24 hours, as required by law. The system just kept repeating the same mistake over and over.
Well, that raises a pretty serious question about how our legal system handles mental health issues. Do we know how many similar cases might be out there?
That's actually one of the most concerning aspects of this case. While we don't have exact numbers, mental health experts estimate that a significant portion of people involved in the justice system have some form of mental health challenge. And get this, studies suggest that up to 40% of people in similar proceedings might have capacity issues that go unrecognised.
So what finally changed in this case? How did it go from repeated arrests to a landmark legal decision?
The turning point came when psychological evaluations finally established his lack of capacity. But here's where it gets really interesting. Instead of just setting aside the original injunction, his representatives decided to pursue damages under the Human Rights Act, specifically Article 5, which protects the right to liberty and security.
That must have ruffled some feathers in the legal establishment.
Oh, you better believe it did. The Lord Chancellor, basically the government's top legal official, tried to argue that you couldn't pursue these kinds of damages without first having appealed the original court orders. They called it an abuse of process, which is pretty ironic when you think about it.
Looking at the broader implications, this seems like it could fundamentally change how courts approach cases involving mental health issues.
Absolutely right, and here's why this matters so much. The Court of Appeal essentially said, look, we need to be more flexible when dealing with vulnerable people. They recognise that sometimes the standard legal procedures just don't work for everyone, and get this, they specifically avoided setting strict guidelines, allowing for case-by-case consideration.
That's quite a departure from the usual rigid legal procedures we're used to seeing.
You know what's really encouraging? This decision is already having ripple effects. Legal experts are reporting that courts are now more likely to conduct early capacity assessments, and there's increased training for judges and lawyers about handling cases where mental capacity might be an issue.
But there must be challenges in implementing these changes across the entire legal system.
Oh, definitely. And that's where the role of the official solicitor becomes so crucial. They're like legal guardians for people who lack capacity. But, and here's the concerning part, access to this kind of specialised legal support isn't universal. We're talking about a system that's still playing catch-up with these issues.
So what should people be watching for as this continues to develop?
Well, there are 3 key things to keep an eye on. First, we're likely to see more emphasis on early screening and assessment in legal proceedings. Second, there's growing pressure for better training and resources for legal professionals dealing with mental health issues. And third, and this is perhaps the most important, we might see more cases challenging traditional legal procedures when they don't adequately protect vulnerable people.
That really shows how one case can push the entire system toward becoming more inclusive and understanding.
Exactly. And as we wrap up, let's remember what this case really represents. It's not just about one young man getting justice. It's about recognising that our legal system needs to work for everyone, especially those who might not fit neatly into standard procedures. It's a powerful reminder that justice needs to be both robust and flexible.
and that protecting the vulnerable isn't just about having the right laws. It's about having the right processes to make those laws work for everyone.